Hey, fix that. Hey, everybody. How are you tonight? We're going to be talking about hotels and all inclusive resorts with my beautiful host, Elisa Rinkin. Um, what I want to do is I want to give you guys some tricks on how to drive down the price of your hotel or your all inclusive. Some of the things that you need to know is that hotels don't really fluctuate in price the way that flights do. So, you really have to know what you're doing to get a great deal on hotels or all inclusive resorts. So from here on, I'll just say all inclusive or hotel. And just know that I mean both. So, first thing that we have to understand is 95% of all online bookings are one of two engines. It's either Priceline or Expedia. So, when you're spending hours and hours and hours of time excuse me, looking for that best deal, you're actually wasting time, Corona. You're actually wasting time and you're not going to get a good margin. So just don't do it. All right. Check Priceline, check Expedia, know that there's going to be a 10 or 15% variance, and then make your decision. Now, that's if you're doing online booking portals. Okay. Now, there's another one that is a pretty good trick. And again, I've got friends that can help with this more if you're curious about it. But you can actually get your loyalty points matched with your credit card, and you can double up on your credit card points and your hotel points, and thereby get your room for next to nothing. I have done this on so many occasions where it saved me so much money by taking my hotel points and my status with a hotel, double dipping with a credit card or whatever cashback programs, and then booking my hotel that way. All right. Stay away from special occasions. Okay. So if I'm going out to Las Vegas, I don't want to go during major holidays or major shows, because those things are going to drive the rates through the roof. Stay away from them. It's actually worth the drive to actually get your hotel outside the area of the special occasion and come back in. Okay. So, for example, if I was going to stay in Nashville during the CMAs, would be insane, not worth it at all. So I'd actually get a hotel up in like Clarksville, for example, and then drive into Nashville, because the rate would be so much lower, it would justify the roughly hour drive. Okay. Next, I read this in a book and it's worked every single time, but you have to do it right. What I do is I purposely book in late or check in late. And when I say late, I'm talking 6, 7 o'clock at night. And then I wait until nobody else is checking in. And I just very politely ask, is there an upgrade available? If there's nobody else around and the hotel is not full, I've found, as long as you're not a jerk, that they'll probably upgrade you. Okay. So you get a better or a bigger room for the same price. I love this trick. Ever since I learned it, I ask every single time. And there's only been a couple of times where it was completely booked and they couldn't facilitate it. When we're talking about all-inclusive resorts, this is pretty important because it can make the difference of a $2,000 trip versus a $4,000 trip. And that is that you want to look for kids free. They have all-inclusive resorts where the children don't actually pay to be at the resort. A lot of all-inclusives will charge you half price. They have some weird, scheme that they use to basically do this. All right. So when you're looking at an all-inclusive resort, I always look for kids free. I will tell you that I've got 4 kids. And so when I travel, I never put 4 kids because I found that they really increase the rate. I just put, I want a double bed. And then we bring an air mattress and then we share the room. Okay. What was that?
Something fell.
What fell?
Nothing.
Real life live. Are you sure?
Yep.
All right. Speaking of that kind of, that kind of strategy by the hotels, there's a thing called double occupancy, right? When you look at all these trips, they have a double occupancy rule where they actually charge you more for the room to be single than they do if you were as a couple. So you can play with this. Some do, some don't. But most of the time, a hotel is a hotel. Now, the activities and everything else going around it are a little more expensive. But the price of a hotel room doesn't typically change from one person to two people. All inclusives will because they got the food. But typically on a hotel, it's no different, right? So always look for that and look for that double occupancy line. Now, I saved the best for last, and I'm going to talk a lot about this because I have found significant savings with this last trick, this last hack. And I never really knew that this existed prior to 3 years ago. But there's actually what they call unpublished rates. So if you go, and I'm going to kind of give you the big overview and then break it down. You basically have three categories of purchasing power inside travel. You can go the direct route, which is where you go directly to the hotel. And there's certain hotel chains that will not, like Southwest Airlines does, they will not discount their hotel for anybody. So if you're typically staying at those hotels, it doesn't matter how you book because it's going to be roughly the same. Okay. Then you have the next one down, which is discounted rates. That's your Priceline Expedia. And what happens there is that they book or they purchase rooms in bulk. So I'm going to go to Hotel Hilton Garden in Cleveland, Ohio. Excuse me. And I'm going to buy, 5,000 rooms, right? And so when they buy 5,000 rooms, they get a deal. Hey, Gene, how are you? Sorry, I had my screen messed up, so I didn't see your comment. So that does happen. And then the lowest is what we call unpublished fares or unpublished rates. Now, the great thing about an unpublished fare is that it's significantly less money, okay? Significantly. Sometimes it's up to 80% less. However, the trade-off for that is they do not give you any flexibility at all on your cancellation policy, okay, and your refund policy. So just know up front what you're paying for when you, sorry, that's my last meal of the day alarm. So these unpublished rates are really powerful. I had a friend that was heading to Hawaii, and we ended up saving almost $600 off the cost of their room by just using the unpublished fares. Everything was locked in pre-corona. Didn't have to worry about cancellation. Didn't have to worry about changing schedule. None of that kind of stuff. Worked out great. Saved them a ton of money. And over and over and over, as I show people this hack about unpublished rates, it's going to save you money. Now, if you're a corporate traveler and you go through significant changes in your itinerary, this is not for you. And there's a way for you to do it and still protect yourself and things like that. All right. So here's what I want you guys to do tonight. If you would be interested in learning more about what we call unpublished rates, I just want you to drop a hotel or a house emoji in the comments. I'll follow up with you in the next day or so and show you how this works. It's the same for the credit card stuff. I can show you guys how all these various techniques work and really save you a lot of money as you begin to travel. If you did not have a chance to tune in last night, I talked about the 5 destinations that are not being really affected by COVID in the United States that you could still go to and have a great summer vacation. I'm taking my kids there in just a couple of weeks, and we're going to knock it out of the park. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow, and we're going to talk about some rental car travel hacks. See you then.